Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in and watching, coming back. Appreciate it. Hope you're having an awesome day. And today's video is going to be about Luminar and specifically about working with an architectural interior that I shot in Munich. So this is not real estate photography, architectural interiors. This is like inside a museum kind of thing. And I wanted to show you how I did that. But first thing I wanted to do is talk about a new Luminar book. It's not mine. It's written and produced and created and all that by a wonderful photographer out of the San Diego area named Scott Davenport. Scott's a great photographer. He's a friend of mine. I've shot with him when I was there. And his book just came out. It's called Luminar Essentials. I'll put a link down below. You can pick that book up. I think it sells for $20. You can use the coupon code GYMNEXT10 to save 10%. Not an affiliate link. I make nothing out of it. You can just have a coupon code and save a few bucks. And it's a great book. Let me show you here real quick. Here we go. This is the cover. I'm not going to go through the whole book, obviously. Scott would like you to buy it. It's 245 pages, as you can see. It is a PDF. It's called Luminar Essentials. There's a bunch of copyright stuff and forward, but it does come with practice images you can download and walk through. And you can see the table of contents. Very well organized, lots of details, lots of great stuff in there. I think you're really going to like it. Well worth the $20. Again, link down below. Use GYMNEXT10 as a coupon code to save 10%. And I've got a copy and I'm reading through it and it's great. So if you want to learn more about Luminar and dive in, check that out at the link below. Now, let me hop over to Luminar and let's walk through a photo edit. Okay, so here's the photo. This was in the Antiquarium in Munich, which is like part of a palace. I can't remember, honestly. It's a couple of years ago, but I love shooting architectural interiors, but they never look in the photo like they look in real life. You know, the light's off, the colors are off. I mean, I'm shooting raw files. I believe this is a JPEG, but regardless, they never come out looking the way I want them to look. And on top of that, you always have to wait it out, right? Because this was a well-known spot. I was there kind of in the off-season, so it wasn't super crowded, but regardless, I still had to wait and wait and wait for it to get clear. And there's still a guy at the other end, but regardless, I got it pretty clear. The point is, I jumped into Luminar and I turned it into that. Now, I edited this a long time ago and saved it as a Luminar file. So I edited this in Luminar 2018. The filters are the same as they are in Luminar 3. I'm using Luminar 2018 simply because I'm already in it and I'm too lazy to move it over to Luminar 3, add it to my library, and do all that. So since it's basically the same editing experience with the filters, I'm going to jump into that. So let me reset these and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so here we are in the raw develop file and it's FA ISO 1000. This is handheld. I shot brackets, but this is a single exposure. I've already made a few adjustments to contrast, highlights, shadows, blacks, and clarity in the raw develop filter. So I went from that to that. You can also see that I checked automatic lens distortion and a little bit of that has been applied. So there to there. So it got me to a pretty good spot, but there's some things I don't really like. I think it's too bright where the light's coming in on the right-hand side. There's not enough detail for me, which is not something I really bring up a lot, but I'm going to use a structure filter here to really impact or increase sort of that pop. I'm going to make some color adjustments as well. So first things first, I used Accent AI, and that really brightened the image, and you're probably saying, hey Jim, didn't you say you kind of want to manage that? And I did, but you saw the final. I'll show you what I did there. Next up was structure, and that was really about amping up a little bit of the detail and sort of that crispiness. So if you go add filters, if you look at structure, it says enhances clarity and micro contrast, improves perceived detail. And that's really what I'm doing here. Structure is great for that. So one more time, there's the before and there's the after. I don't know how well you can see. I can tell pretty well, but it does give it a bit more pop. It gives it, I think, a bit more depth. And as I said, that perceived detail, I think, really helps. Next was tone filter. So there you go. As you can see, we're darkening a little bit. I took down smart tone, added a little contrast, brought down highlights because that light coming in to me was too bright and the overall photo was too bright as well. So usually I'm using smart tone to go to the right to brighten the image. In this case, I took it to the left to darken the image slightly. Saturation and vibrance was next. And this was a situation where I took the saturation down but increased the vibrance. Really, I just thought it was, if you look at that, too much gold coming through. Both the light reflected on kind of the golder tones in the ceiling, but also over here where the lights are shining on these little statues. I just wanted to tone that down a little bit because I actually edited this photo a couple of different ways. And the first couple of ways I was getting really way too much orangey gold, so I wanted to tone that down. And then I came in brilliance and warmth, and this is what I talk about. I kind of go back and forth. I bumped that up a little bit, both the vividness and the warmth, which brought back a little bit of those golden tones. Again, I'm always just kind of playing around. And the next thing I do is color balance, and this is definitely a big change. If you look at the photo, there you go. Much bluer, kind of calmer tones, but I think it really brings out, if you look at like the ceiling to me, you get this nice kind of like V, the ceiling kind of going down and kind of collapsing at the end to almost not to a point, but kind of a V shape. But it's really warm, and I think now it's cooler, but it also brings up, I think, more of the murals, and you can see that better. So shadows, I took it the cyan red to the left. Midtones and highlights didn't do anything. So really just some shadow work there, which I think made a nice impact on the photo. And the last thing is just a little bit of image radiance, and that's just to add back a little bit of shadow and a little bit of mood. And in fact, I might go a little bit less on the brightness and maybe even increase that a little bit more if you want to get a little bit more dramatic effect. But that's all I did really. Is a fairly simple and straightforward workflow. But as you can see, I mean, the base photo was pretty blah. Again, raw files are that way. And this is a raw file. Actually, you can see over here it's a .arw, and in fact, the raw develop filter, so you know it's a raw file. But the raw files, they never really look the way that it actually looked in real life. And on top of that, I tend to prefer to add a little bit of my own impact to a photo, a little bit of my own mood, and that's what I did here using all those different filters. So one more time, there's the before, and there's the final or the after, and that's using a number of different filters and walking through a kind of a sample workflow for architectural interiors. Again, every architectural interior is going to be different. It's going to depend on what light's coming in, where it's coming in from, what colors are present, and things like that. But this is a sample of what I would do in a situation like this. I don't shoot interior real estate, but I do shoot interior architecture in museums and, churches and things like that. So this is an example of what I would do shooting this kind of interior when I'm traveling, generally in Europe, because that's where the awesome, I think, awesome museums and churches or cathedrals are. So again, one more time, there's the before, there's the after. I hope that helps, my friend. Check out Luminar at the link down below. You can follow along my playlist, which I'll hit at the end of this video. It's got 150 something Luminar videos. And don't forget to check out Scott's ebook at the link below. It's really good. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again for watching. Have a great one, my friends. Take care and adios.